in this trial. Is Donald Trump guilty of inciting a violent mob against the United States?
Simply put, the snap impeachment raises serious questions about fundamental fairness, due process, or more accurately, a lack thereof.
Joining me right now is former Trump presidential 2020 campaign senior advisor Jason Miller. Fundamental fairness, Jason, is what the senator just talked about. And Senator Schumer said the question is President Trump guilty? And you say?
Not at all, Maria. In fact, what we're going to show as we dive into the second impeachment trial of President Trump today is, number one, as you mentioned, this entire trial is unconstitutional. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Constitution very clearly spells out the only point of impeachment is to remove someone from office. Well, President Trump is already out of office. So for the Democrats to go and push this, it's pretty clear it's just a vindictive effort to try to beat him up for future elections. But I think one of the things that's really on trial here, Maria, is the First Amendment and freedom of speech. In fact, I think you're going to see this week where a number of Democratic senators, in fact, most of them, have used far worse language and much more actual, insightful rhetoric. And when you compare that, we would have to go and impeach half, maybe two-thirds of the Senate Democratic caucus if we were going by the Democrat standard. But the other thing that I'd point out, too, is we look at a real, true, and accurate timeline of events from January 6th. You'll see that these bad actors who were involved in these horrific attacks up at the Capitol were planning and plotting their activities long before President Trump said anything. I don't think President Trump did anything wrong on January 6th. I think he was talking peacefully, told folks to go up to the Hill and cheer on their lawmakers, but be patriotic, be peaceful. If you know anything about President Trump, you know he deplores any aspect of violence.
Yeah, and I guess we do have these reports of the plans from these perpetrators, what they wanted to do before President Trump gave that speech. But you've got barbed wire and 8-foot fencing right now, Jason, around the Capitol. We learned yesterday from the spokesperson from the Pentagon that securing the Capitol is going to cost $500 million just to secure the Capitol until mid-March. That's what Nancy Pelosi wants. Senator Ron Johnson says this is all an effort to show to the world, to show America that the Democrats have to protect themselves against Trump supporters and Trump associates who are going to represent a risk, perhaps domestic terrorism. This is actually what they're talking about. And taxpayers are paying for these 8-foot fences and barbed wire around the Capitol right now. Even though Ron Johnson is investigating this, he's not getting any answers from his colleagues. In fact, what is the intelligence that they know or they've seen that would require such protection?
Well, I would like to know it. In fact, Maria, I think what you see what the Democrats have done to Washington, D.C. is they've completely destroyed this city. I mean, the city is completely shut down. Small businesses, restaurants, hotels, completely wiped out. And the other thing I would ask, too, Maria, is why didn't Democrats want to take stronger action going back to last summer, going back to last fall, rejecting numerous attempts from the White House to try to help the Capitol, try to make sure that we had security in place for a number of different measures. But again, Nancy Pelosi and Capitol Hill Democrats had rejected that. And so I think as we look going forward here, what we have to get back to, Maria, is what really brings the country together. And I think pushing ahead with some vindictive impeachment effort after President Trump has left office. And so think about this for a moment. They're trying to change the Constitution to go after one person, President Trump, because if the Constitution says the only point of impeachment is to remove someone from office and they're going for it now, this is just out of spite.
Will this stop President Trump from moving forward to any other political office? Have you spoken with him? Do you think he's going to run in 2024?
Well, I sure hope he does. No decision has been made here, but we'll see what happens. But I think the president's going to be very involved in making sure we win back the House and the Senate in 2022, a number of these gubernatorial seats. And also, too, we still have a lot of work to go and make sure that we get our elections cleaned up. And that's going to be an effort working with the state legislatures. We saw a number of pretty gross Article 2 abuses from the Constitution this last election. And that's something that we want to go and get cleaned up, but we got to do it at the state level. We're not going to back off of that. But no, President Trump will stay active. active. But I think he's going to take a little bit of take a little rest and relaxation there at Mar-a-Lago, and then we'll see him back at it shortly.
So the Biden administration is asking all Senate-confirmed U.S. attorneys appointed under President